checking the Twitch stream to make sure it's working and blah, 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 blah. Do we have audio? We do. Excellent. Original sound for musicians is on. I believe we are clear to cast on Dementia Radio because I think the professor is off this week. So Dementia Radio now and recording in 3, 2, 1.
Recorded live on DementiaRadio.org, it's the Funny Music Podcast, brought to you by FuMP.com, where you can download new free comedy songs twice a week. Now, here's your hosts, Devo Spice and the great Luke Ski.
Hey, Devo Spice!
Hey, Luke Ski!
We have the Belle Isle Rats in the house.
Hey, Rats!
Hey!
And also, David Jacobsen.
Hey, David!
Hey there! Thanks for having me.
Welcome to the show. Welcome specifically to episode 732 of the Funny Music Podcast for June 27th, 2024, which is actually tomorrow. The title of this week's show is A Corrupt Review, and your job is to work that into our conversations somehow. I just put that in the chat. The reason we are doing this show a day early is because I'm going to be away tomorrow. My short film, Talk to the Hand, has been accepted into the Hops and Humorous Arts Festival. I think that's what it stands for, or the Ha Ha Fest for short, which is taking place tomorrow night in Massachusetts. So I'm going to be driving up tomorrow afternoon, and tomorrow night I'll be watching a whole bunch of comedy shorts at a brewery in Massachusetts. So it's going to be a fun night, even though I don't drink. So
Not related to rabbits.
yes.
Different cat.
All right, so let's do the catchy-uppy thing.
Let's get caught up with what Devo and Luke have been up to since last week. Or else Devo, if Luke failed and didn't show up.
Hey!
What?
Oh, he's right.
So, Luke, what you been up to?
Well, one thing I did was, going back to me having put all of my albums from the past up on Songcast last summer over the period of, a few months. I basically had, left it alone to see, because I just figured, why bother trying to collect, a little bit of money here and there at a time when I could just leave it alone and collect it, when it's a significant amount. So since I'm about to go on this, 2-week trip with my family to England, I'm like, all right, well, that's a good enough excuse to cash out what I have at Songcast. And as of June 20th, I was up to $421.
Nice.
So that was
Yeah.
So I had them transfer that money to me. So it's like, yay, I have more money for the vacation. Other than that, mostly just, doing my day job. And I finally, through California's, Medi-Cal, care system, etc., I was finally able to see a new therapist and a new psychiatrist so that I can, get back into therapy. I had not been in it for at least a year and a half due to changes at the place I had been getting things. And the same place also has been handling my psychiatrist and my meds and stuff, and they decided way back when, whatever it was, sometime in the past year, because of the Adderall shortage, they were going to stop prescribing all stimulants. So it's like, okay, I guess I get to live without Adderall now and get to try something else. And the other thing I've been trying, helps to some degree, but it just isn't as good as Adderall as far as helping me feel motivated to actually do things. So basically, I'm seeing a new psychiatrist and, talk to her, and, kind of our plan is, since I'm about to go on this trip and I already have, the meds from the previous place, I'm just going to stick with those for the duration of the trip. And then once I get back and, can have another visit with her online, we can start setting up me switching over to her being my new psychiatrist so that she can, attempt to prescribe me Adderall. And there's still a shortage, so there's still supply issues and stuff, but at least I'll have a chance at getting it. And that's, what's more important to me. And then the other thing was, yesterday, I had the day off, so my girlfriend Kalani came over, And we spent the majority of the day basically packing for the trip because I wanted to make sure that, I mean, like if this was like packing for a normal trip to the Midwest or to a convention, I wouldn't care. But since we're going to be gone for 2 weeks with my mom and my whole, all my siblings and everything, and we're going to be doing some kind of special stuff, I wanted her to help me like pick out some of my nicer clothes so that, I don't look like a total, t-shirt wearing bum the whole time I'm out in Europe. So, that was an interesting adventure. We went to Kohl's and I got new shoes, and went to Target and got a bunch of travel things, and they didn't have. I wanted to get a couple new pairs of cargo shorts, and they didn't have the kind I wanted, so I'm gonna keep looking for those. But in any case, I'm basically set, and I have my 2 suitcases packed. So now I don't have to worry about that between now and Saturday night when we head to the airport. So yeah, the thing I was gonna do this morning was record vocals for your next song, and I guess due to just the stress of the trip and other things going on in my life, I just couldn't get to sleep last night. And I finally got to sleep around, I don't know, probably 4 a.m. or so, and I just had a really bad night's sleep. Like, Kalani was basically saying I was like literally talking in my sleep, and at one point I kind of like reached over and like grabbed her or something like that, and I don't remember any of that stuff. So once she had to leave early in the morning to go to a hair appointment and then head back to her place in Irvine. And after she left, I finally got some decent sleep, but when it was time for me to get up and record my vocals before going to work, I felt like I can't get up. I'm way too tired and messed up to to do anything right now. So after hitting snooze a whole bunch of times, I just called work and I said, "Hey, will you guys be okay if I don't show up for work today?" And they said yes. So I ended up taking the day off, which ended up being good because apparently we're recording the FuMPCast now. So,
yes.
so I'm here because I took the day off work because I was too sleepy to get up and record your song earlier today. So now
so
that
it's
I've got
all
this
my
stuff
fault.
moved out of, yes. And I can't thank you enough because it gave me a legitimate excuse to not go to work. So now that I got all that stuff out of the way of where I usually set up my booth over there, I've reset up the booth. I have everything good to go. I printed the lyrics. I had to put new ink in my printer because, it's old and it needs that. It's all. I'm all set and ready. I've listened to the song a bunch of times. I listened to it a bunch of times the other day on Spotify just to get it in my head. Because it's a song I've definitely heard a bunch before, but I've never listened to it from the point of view of, now I'm going to have to...
now you're going to have to match what they're saying, yeah.
Yeah. Match the syncopations and the rhythms and the stuff, because that's the whole point. Because if you don't do that, then why bother, doing a parody of a hip-hop song if you're not going to do it correctly?
Right.
At least that's what me and Devo say. So yeah, and I know Shoebox is waiting to hear what I record too, so that he can finish up his last little bit. So as soon
the only
as,
thing that matters there
with
is the very end. So if you don't change one thing at the very end, then he can go do his as it is.
Yeah.
So that's all.
Yeah. So yeah, and I'll ask you some more questions about it once we're off the air,
okay,
so I can make sure I'm doing what you want me to do. So yeah, just living life, dealing with crap, hanging out with my kitty, spending some quality time with my girlfriend, and looking forward to spending time with my family out in England and going to Disneyland Paris with Kalani. So that'll be fun.
Cool.
So, what have you been up to besides watching horror movies?
Yeah, before the show we were talking horror movies. And since Jeff Whitmire's not on the show tonight, so hey, you know how I've been like unemployed all year and have no money coming in? What a perfect time for my son's computer to die.
Yeah.
So he texted me the other day and he's like, "Hey, this computer's dead." And I'm like, "What?" This is a 2016 MacBook Pro. It's my old computer. And I went and looked at it and he's like, "The computer comes on, but the screen doesn't come on." And I'm like, "Oh, I remember this." And so I rebooted the computer with the laptop open just like 45 degrees, and the screen came right on. And then when you opened it further, when you got to about 60 degrees, the screen shut off. I'm like, this is a design flaw in this computer, and I can't believe that there hasn't been a recall from it, because the other 2016 MacBook Pro I had this exact same repair done to it. The cable inside that connects the motherboard to the screen just wears out over time because it's slightly too short, so it cracks. So I brought the computer to Apple. It's long out of warranty, and they're like, yes, that'll be $700, and I'm like, what? Yeah. So I was like, well, and even the guy was like, dude, you can get a new computer for $1,000, new MacBook Air. And I was like, yeah, he did just graduate high school. We still owe him a graduation present, and he's going to college in 2 months. I'm like, probably a new computer is the way to go. So Darren has a shiny new MacBook Air upstairs, and my wife is going to try to fix the old MacBook Pro, because she likes taking apart computers and resoldering wires together and stuff. So I'm going to let her do that.
Maybe her and Steve Christ could start a business.
Yes, right, exactly. So speaking of me not having any money, I attended a voiceover workshop on Sunday, I think it was, online about audiobook recording and stuff like that. And the majority of the workshop was about this service called ACX. And I'm like, I remember ACX. I'm like, I think I'm on ACX. And I looked up. I'm like, I logged in. I'm like, oh yeah, I remember ACX. I had just completely forgotten that ACX was a thing. ACX is it's like a dating service for books that need to be narrated and narrators looking to do work. And you just basically just pick a book and audition for it. And I was like, all right, maybe I should do that again. So I did an audition for one book the other day. There was one book I recorded an audition for, but after rereading the submission guidelines, I haven't submitted it yet because I have to re-record. I did it wrong. I have to re-record it, so I'll do that probably this weekend. But I'm just going to keep submitting, and maybe I'll get some voiceover work off of that. And the other thing I've been doing, which I'm mentioning for a specific reason, is I've started re-listening to Escape from Walt Disney from the beginning. And
nice. So
I don't remember at what point I started listening, so I haven't heard the first, many episodes. I actually, now that I think of it, I may not have started listening until he actually had me on the show. So that would have been later. But anyway, Luke, I need to give you props for this one joke that you did on the show early on. It was one of the two Winnie the Pooh episodes early on, when you were talking about what's his name, Frank Cullen, who voices Peter. No,
Eeyore?
Yeah, voices
Peter
Eeyore.
Cullen.
Peter Cullen voices Eeyore and Optimus Prime. And you did this great Eeyore impression of going, one shall stand, one shall fall. I'll probably be the one that falls. And dude, I laughed so hard.
Yay! I don't even remember that, but yay!
So yeah, it's one of the two. Because there were two Winnie the Pooh episodes fairly close together early on in the show. And but yeah, dude, I laughed so hard. So anyway, Rats, what have you guys been up to?
Same old. Tom, you've had more of an exciting adventure lately than me. What's been going on with you?
I biked back from Chicago a few days ago.
Backpacked?
No, biking.
Biking. Okay, I was gonna say I thought you did biking. But like, you're into backpacking now. Okay.
He bikes from Detroit to Chicago.
Yeah. No, actually this time it was Chicago to Detroit, because I'm still doing that vehicle delivery gig, and I delivered to a town that was about 60 miles west of Chicago, and I brought my stuff with me, and I biked from there to Chicago, and then after being there for about a week, I biked home, and it was hot and sweaty.
I can imagine. Yeah, you picked a rough week to bike that distance.
Yeah. I just laughed and said, I talked to myself, just said, yep, you wanted to do this.
Heat stroke is for the weak.
That's right. Yeah.
So,
But that, yeah.
As far as me, nothing. Just doing my my piano tunings, and church gig, and taking care of my daughter, and nothing really. It's been pretty much even keel. Nothing really has changed a whole lot since last time. So, and working on new Belle Rats material.
nice. That's always good to hear.
That, yeah. So.
All right. So, David W. Jacobsen, welcome to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. It's good to be had.
So, what have you been up to?
I was going to say that I'm adapting to being eligible to join AARP, but then I just looked at their website, and apparently you can join the AARP as long as you're over 18.
Yeah, I was going to say, I've been getting AARP material since I was in college.
Really trying to, I guess you realize it's not a great market because, elderly, you start to have less disposable income. So I guess they wanted to extend their market share to people with more disposable income. I don't know.
Yeah, we actually had a song about AARP on the FuMP recently, and that's going to be the basis for the next album cover that I'm working on for FuMP 105.
I guess they need to change the R to be something else.
I've already redesigned the FuMP logo to make it look, it's red, and it's got that little swoosh at the beginning on the F. So it looks pretty cool.
Nice. I don't know. Nothing but an R. But yeah, no, working on some tunes, doing the usual.
Cool.
It's getting out there. But now that I'm on the phone, now I can actually retire, right?
Yes.
So I can actually really.
Yeah. As long as you can stretch out that $18 royalty check that you're going to get for the next 30 years, you'll be fine. Yeah.
I've been playing independent music. There's hundreds of dollars.
Yes.
To be made across a decade.
Yes,
but
as I like to say, there's dozens of dollars to be made in comedy music.
Yes.
So, speaking of comedy music,
that was one.
What?
Oh. No, it is one of the pleasant surprises that we learned shortly after our first appearance on here is that you actually pay to be on the show.
I do.
Paid to do comedy music.
Yeah.
So hats off to you just for that alone. I mean,
That's
not a
why
lot.
Steve Goody puts out 8 songs a month on
Right.
the
Yeah.
I didn't say it was a lot, but it's something. At least the concept of putting forth comedy music and receiving some sort of income, no matter how modest, is a cool thing.
So, David, you posted a song. Give us a quick intro to this song, and then we'll give it a listen.
It's music for the masses. It's a sardonic title, obviously. It's also the title of a Depeche Mode album, but yeah, I try to title things the same as other people's titles, so people stream them by mistake.
That's brilliant.
I wrote a song called Freebird, so I have something to play when people ask me to play it. So
Yeah, we know like 5 acts that have done that.
Yes. Yeah.
it's not, it's but it actually, I mean, it is a good idea. You can't copyright the title of someone else's song,
Right.
So
Because if you do that, you're going to get a corrupt review.
Yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Are we all supposed to keep trying for that, or is it just one time?
No, you can still do it. There's no limit.
The goal is 1, but there is no limit.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's my take on Dance 10 Looks 3 from a chorus line applied to trying to make it in music. It's also just noting that the comedy songs actually are the songs that people want to hear, more so than my deep philosophical take on the universe and life. Whatever people would rather hear, not that.
Yeah.
So
All right.
I did. It's also inspired by Jennifer Lopez, which is just a dreadful song. But it's not meant to malign in any way the national treasure that is Baby Got Back.
Okay. Good to hear. All right, so here is Music for the Masses by David W. Jacobsen.
You went to a famous higher institution and you want to write a song about the French Revolution? Don't! No one will care. You'd learn to sing at Juilliard. Now there's auto-tune, so singing ain't hard. You'd best focus on your hair. If you want to have a hit, just forget that earnest stuff and sing about butts. Sing a song about butts. Make music for the masses. They want to hear about asses. You'll start your winning streaks, singing all about your cheeks. Your song won't make them glum if it's all about your bum. If you want to have a hit, I think you're getting it. You've a 4-octave range and rave reviews, but things aren't going so smooth for you. It doesn't matter if you're so great. Wake up, child, and smell the coke. We still say talent, but as a joke, it's about your age and your weight. So get a trainer and a surgeon to work on your gut and sing about butts. Sing a song about butts. Make music for the masses. They want to hear about asses. The crowd will really cheer when you sing about your rear. You'll find they actually care for a song of derriere. If you're tired of making art for barely peanuts, you should change your themes. It'll get you out of your ruts. One door opens as another shuts. Playing jazz for wine and tips while the audience stares at your hips. Those years of sweat and practice while the radio plays a chord or two by someone with far less talent than you, and you think, who the hell needs this? If you're tired of indifference and the apathy that cuts, you should sing about butts. Sing a song about butts. Make music for the masses. Most of them are just asses. You might think the song's inferior, being about your posterior, but you could be as big as Hootie if you sing about your booty. Sure, this song is schlock, but it might get you off the block. Sometimes you need a little push. Come on, sing about your tush. They'll make a real fuss for a song about took Gus. Some might say it's unrefined to sing of one's behind. You might not play it for your granny. This song about your fanny. It'll get you out of your slump to sing about your rump. All about that junk in your trunk. You know he never lied about liking a large backside.
All right. Very nice. So, since this is your first time on the show, why don't you give us the full rundown? Who you are, where you're from, what you do, all that good stuff.
Sure. From Jersey, and
whereabouts?
Everybody loves Jersey. South Orange.
South Orange. I'm up in Hardiston, up by Mountain Creek.
Cool.
So
Everybody loves them Jersey. Everyone. Yeah, right.
So I think you're only about an hour from me. Actually, I think South Orange is only about an hour.
Yeah, it's my hometown. I'm actually in the city now, but I started off trying to play serious music and learning hardcore. I went to Berkeley and went there trying to be Jaco Pastorius, trying to be like Mr. Jazz Fusion, whatever. And then I just woke up one morning, looked at the ceiling, and realized I hate jazz. And then I turned around and looked at my roommate and realized I really hate jazz musicians. And so I left Berkeley and tried to write show tunes. But I couldn't find anyone to write the book, and I lost interest. And then I was just floating around and a friend asked me to play in his punk band. So I'm like, okay, sure, whatever. And I'm like, oh, okay. So maybe I'll just write songs rather than trying to be anything grand. And, I wrote a mix of things, and it seemed to be the funny ones seemed to be what people wanted to hear. So about 20% of my material is kind of funny. That's the 20% I mostly play live. So
interesting. Because
depending on the audience.
Yeah, obviously, but usually it goes the other way. Usually people start off going, "I'm going to make funny music," and then they go out and they make funny music, and then they record a serious song, and the serious song is a much bigger hit, and then they just like, "I'm going to make money," and they go serious, and then they turn their back on the comedy music. So it's interesting that you kind of went the other way.
Well, there's not a lot of money to be made in music, period. And getting in different college kids and drunk frat boys to look up from their beer or tea for 5 seconds is usually easier if you crack some jokes than if you do your song about the French Revolution, which I have on the same record as that album. Music for the Masses starts off with that song, with the opening line is, "You want to write a song about the French Revolution?" And then later on I have a 12-minute prog rock song about the keeping of time during the French Revolution, because they had this crazy thing where they got rid of the calendar and they created a new calendar, they created a new clock, and they like tried to force everybody onto a decimal clock with 10 hours in the day and 100 minutes per hour, but it was insanity. And of course Napoleon came along and said that eventually. I do a French accent, but I'm quite bad at the French accent, so anyway, but yeah, people don't want my 12-minute prog rock song about the French Revolution. Probably
I kind of want to hear that just out of curiosity. Actually, is that on Spotify?
It's all on. My stuff is up on Spotify and everything. There was a time where everybody was angry at Spotify for whatever or something, and I thought, like, well, you know what? They're hosting my music, so it's costing them money because people aren't really listening to it. So I'm going to leave my.
That's revenge.
As my so given that they probably spend more hosting, because I have like hundreds of songs up there, and only like 20% of them are funny, but yeah,
that's funny.
And
so you said this song was inspired by J-Lo's Booty, the song Booty. I don't know that I'm familiar with that song. I'm probably recognize it if I heard it.
You are counting yourself lucky.
Oh, okay.
It's just bad. I can't sing it. I don't want to sing it. It's just a bad song. It's like, this is terrible. But then it's like, well, this sold millions of copies and people wanted to hear about it. And how many people have heard my song about King Lear? So, it's, yeah. So,
but I have to say, when Music for the Masses, this song came through the FuMP, I remember I was listening to it in the car on the way to pick up my son from work. And when you first got to sing a song about butts, I broke out laughing. So well done. Did not see it coming, and really enjoyed it. So we're happy to have you.
Appreciate it.
Although I have to say, every time I hear a song about butts, all I can think of is I don't remember whether it was, I think it was an SNL skit where there's a song where they do that. They take that children's rhyme, milk, milk, lemonade, round the corner fudge is made, and make it into a dance song. And the chorus of the song is this girl shaking her butt, and she's like, "This is where my poop comes out. This is where my poop comes out." And just over and over and over. And like every time I hear a song about butts, that's all I can think of.
There does seem to be a general increase in songs about butts. If you look at a timeline from the 50s over here, songs about butts would be very minimal. Then as you go through the 60s, 70s, 80s, and 90s, and now, the songs about butts increase precipitously. So I think we would see that general trend, and you're kind of riding that, which is cool.
I'm not leading the way. I'm just part of the trend, probably. But yeah.
It's the Fibonacci derriere sequence.
Yeah.
It's part of the zeitgeist of our.
It's now a perfectly acceptable song topic. So
Yes, and you've cracked that market.
Hey-o.
Womp womp, so to speak.
I would love to see that charted. I'd love to see that, like an actual chart of that. So Lee, you want to get on that? I know that you could probably do that.
Speaking of charting things, and I realize this song is not a parody of Baby Got Back, but it's my belief that Baby Got Back is one of the most parodied songs out there, and I would love to see a chart of what are the most parodied songs, because I think Baby Got Back, We Didn't Start the Fire are definitely within the top 5.
Yeah.
You know?
They'd probably be in at least the top 10. I have to imagine that the most parodied song of all time is the 12 Days of Christmas.
Oh, yeah, that too. Yeah, that would be... yeah.
Christmas songs.
But it's like, in my opinion, like, for me and Devo Spice, we both had done parodies of Baby Got Back. In fact, Devo did his first, I believe, because mine was in 1998. When was yours?
93, I think.
And
because it was on noise. It was on Noise Pollution, so it would have been probably recorded in 92, released in 93.
So, like, and I wanted to just look this up real quick. And it was released in May of 1992. So, Devo got his out like a year after the song came out, and mine came 6 years after the song came out. And I guess in my way of thinking, see, Devo and I parodied that song because we both are, we've been fans of hip hop our whole lives, and we love it and respect it. And we're doing parodies of it, but we're doing it because we are genuine fans of the genre. At some point in time, it was kind of like a nostalgia thing. Like, everyone kind of forgot about Baby Got Back, and then suddenly, like, some chain of events of, like, somebody remembered it, and it's like, oh yeah, remember the song about the butts? And then, like, everybody in the world had to do a parody of it or a cover of it in a different genre. There's like a steampunk version. There's like a dance hall version. There's obviously Richard Cheese's
There's a
version,
Gilbert and Sullivan version.
Yep.
Yeah.
And
So it's like
very famously Jonathan Colton's version, which was used in Glee without his permission.
Yeah. So it's so I just kind of, whenever I see new parodies of Baby Got Back come along, or any new covers.
Oh yeah, I've done
reinterpretations
2
of it.
parodies of Baby Got Back.
Well, yeah.
I forgot about the second one.
Yeah.
It's an American classic.
Yeah, but yours was about the Jonathan Colton situation regarding the song directly.
Yeah.
So to my way of thinking, it's like Devo and I parodied that song because we genuinely loved it unironically. We aren't doing this because, like, get it, it's the butt song, but I made it about the Breck cartoon character Hardy Har Har. It's like, no, that song is awesome, and I just made it about another awesome thing that I love. So screw all of you bandwagon jumping, Anyway.
We parodied Baby Got Back before it was cool.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And at least that's a corrupt review of the situation to some degree.
Didn't you guys parody it before the
Didn't we parody what?
Didn't you parody that song before it actually came out? Isn't that how brilliant you guys are?
No, unfortunately, no. We're not that good.
We're thinking of Weird Al Yankovic and how he did his song "Eat It," and then Michael Jackson parodied that with "Beat It."
Yes, with "Beat It." Yeah.
Classic.
So yeah.
So David, do you perform out much?
I play within the city mainly. I don't have a car these days, and so I'll a couple times, once or twice a month, I'll get myself out there and just to keep things moving. But I'm more interested in recording these days.
Mm-hmm.
I show something out once a year, and because there's no point in CDs, they're dead. So it's with physical media gone, it's there's no reason to. It's also just there's something just easier about shoving something online than.
I mean, you could still get CDs made if you wanted to get a small amount of them made.
You can, because I make small amounts of CDs. For example, this one I made.
Do you have a minimum, Devo Spice?
I do not. Well, I mean, technically the minimum is 1, and then Jace asked me if I could do half a CD, so I guess I can if I make 1 and cut it in half with a Dremel, but yeah, 1 would be the minimum.
But overall, in your production facility, you have no minimum.
I have no minimum, yes.
Or no min, to put it another way.
No min, yes.
I mean, I kind of miss having lots of boxes sitting around the basement of my mother's house. But, other than
I don't. I have lots of boxes right behind me. You can see over there. These are the CDs that are for sale in the FuMP store, and over there are the FuMP CDs. And down below are my CDs. And Yeah.
I order them every month.
The good thing about giving people CDs or people buying CDs is you don't know whether they listen to them or not. So you can tell that they're out there, and the random guy who you had a 6-word conversation to, whose kid likes music, who you gave a CD to, didn't just throw your CD in the trash the second he was out of your sight.
Hey, one can dream, never know.
Exactly.
A lot of people, there's really no way to listen to a CD right now. I mean, you can hardly buy them anymore. Cars don't come with them anymore.
Yeah, that's the problem. Is that
computers don't come with CD drives anymore? So even if you get someone a CD, well, how are you going to listen to it? Well, I mean,
yeah,
I'll put it out on 8-track or a reel-to-reel.
Yeah,
a wax cylinder. I'll do a wax cylinder.
Our friends over at Needle Juice Records have done all of those.
Wax cylinder.
Yep, wax cylinder. What did they release on a wax cylinder? I don't remember what it was. Was it?
I think it was one of the Logan Whitehurst songs. I think.
It might have been a Logan Whitehurst.
Thomas Edison's greatest hits.
I still have a CD player, cassette player, boombox that I keep over there, in my entertainment center.
I'm planning to buy one. Actually, I still want to buy one. Just because I do have tapes up there that I can't listen to because I don't have a tape deck, and half of that stuff is not on Spotify. So,
and our good friend Janice and T, her husband, gifted me a few months ago. They bought me one of those small portable turntables so that I have an actual record playing turntable, but I have yet to open it and set it up anywhere, because I don't have like a piece of furniture to put it on that is free from enough space. So I kind of need to go to IKEA just to buy a piece of furniture to put my record player on, and then have a place to store all the records I keep buying on Kickstarters that I don't have the ability to listen to. I have Worm Quartet's Carpe Tedium. I have the Electric Mayhem's Muppets album that came out with that album, with their series that came out a year ago on Disney Plus. So, in fact, Art Paul Schlosser sent me a 45 of a couple of his songs too. So, I have this, and I have a whole bunch of, not to mention my old vinyl from back in the day that I still have on me.
I have the Pac-Man EP on vinyl, unopened, because I don't have a turntable, so I never opened it.
So once I get that piece of furniture, I can set up my turntable and I can get out my records and actually listen to them on a record player, because I'm old school like that.
Yeah.
Well, we can all be encouraged by the fact that I've heard recently at least 100,000 tunes a day get uploaded to the streaming services. I don't know if that's high or not, but it's some like there's 3 million more songs up there now than there were last month, and next month there's going to be 3 million more songs. So I don't know. You really got to. How do you cut through all that? You
go to the FuMP where we only post like 8 to 9 songs a month, depending on how many Tuesdays and Fridays there are. So that's how you
Sundays,
do it.
Steve Goodies does.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
that's right. You sifted out for everybody else.
Yeah, right. We filtered out the other 20 million songs that comedy fans don't want to listen to.
That's right.
In fact, Spotify's doing that too. But that's another story.
And then I take like 3 hours to write a song called Chicken, and then I post that.
I think
that's all I have the time and the mental capacity to do these days.
Yeah.
And that one did pretty well. I mean,
it's doing all right. In fact, I was going to mention our good friend Lar D'Souza, who is an amazing artist.
That is such a great drawing.
Yeah,
he did such a great drawing.
Because I was promoting the song Chicken, he did an awesome drawing of like me as a chicken, like, and it just says chicken over the top. And then I messaged him saying, like, I had this idea involving like multiple chickens, like a drawing that I thought I would want to do, but maybe he'd be willing to do it for me, and just kind of explained it to him. And I'm like, well, think about it. Let me know how much you would charge me for it. So he did the piece of art, and it's friggin' amazing. And I asked him, what do you want in exchange for that? How much you want me to pay you? And he said, basically, well, just send me some downloads of some of your albums and stuff like that. And I'm like, do you want me to mail you a CD too? And he's like, sure. So he gave me his address. So physical CDs can be used to pay for artwork that other people made as well.
All right, I'm gonna put it up on. I can't put it up on screen. Damn it. All right, you'll have to look it up. Sorry.
I gotta say, I was a little disappointed in Dr. Demento. Last week he had a show, a bird themed show, and so we've got Bird Court and Canadian Geese. I sent him both of those. He didn't play either one of them, and I thought, come on, man, what more do you? I don't know. Maybe he had enough songs for the show, but I thought for sure at least one of those would have been played.
Yeah, if I had a nickel for every time that's happened on an episode, it's like it's like my song about blank was right there.
Right.
So.
Yeah. Oh well, it's his show. He can do what he wants. So
yeah, he did the insect show, and I was happy he included Ian's Ant-Man song. So that was good.
All right, so David, do you have anything else you'd like to plug or talk about or anything?
I mean, my website is davidwj.com. If you're online looking for something besides pornography, you can check it out.
Nobody's online looking for anything but pornography, so.
No, well, if you're at work, so check me out. Check me out on company.
Yeah. So yeah, look up David W. Jacobsen on Company Time. There you go.
Yes. Exactly.
All right, we're gonna do news and then the rat song. Are you gonna stick around? Or are you taking off?
I had to put my little kid to bed.
Okay. Well, thank you for joining us. And
thank you for having me.
We look forward to more music from you.
Yeah, no, I'm sure next time. Hopefully, I won't get a corrupt review. And
all right.
Thanks for having me.
All right, thanks for coming. All right, let's do some news.
This is the FuMP.
Just down the cup of iocane, I can't explain. It's inconceivable.
Use some mixer in my booze. They keep on giving me a little 7-Up.
That's the Funny Music Project at thefump.com. THEFUMP.com.
Tip me over and my change falls out. My spout is connected to all of my pockets, my articulations, and all of my sockets. Hey there, Mr. Macchiato Face. You got a coffee mouth and you're a big disgrace. I grind up the beans.
Time for funny music news. Something.
In the news, Jeff Whitmire's Indiegogo is up to $2,500 of his $8,000 goal. I think he reset the number of days left because now it says 32, and I'm pretty sure it was 9 last week. But anyway, if you want to help out Jeff Whitmire with his new album, Direct to Video, go to Indiegogo.com and search for Jeff Whitmire. Carla Ulbrich has been selected to perform in a comedy festival in Maine. She will be performing at the Portland Comedy Festival in September. Details to come. Carla's been getting back out there and doing more contests lately, so we wish her the best of luck with all of these things.
If only Carla had a song about butts.
We have a new sponsor for FuMPFest. Please welcome Sunday Funnies with Wacky Ben. Sunday Funnies is a half-hour comedy music podcast hosted by Wacky Ben to bring laughter on everyone's lazy Sunday in order to give the next start off of the work week to a good start. No need to stress when all you need is a good laugh. Keep that sense of humor alive. You can find Sunday Funnies on your favorite podcast stream or to look up his Facebook page. So thank you for sponsoring FuMPFest, Ben. I don't have any other FuMPFest news, so... the FuMP newsletter for June went out the other day with stories about FuMPFest, the new releases, videos, and more. If you're not on our mailing list, you can view it online at tiny.cc/FuMP0624 for June of 2024. tiny.cc/FuMP0624. All right. And anything else before tour dates?
Not that I can think of.
All right, tour dates.
Although I will say, sorry, I did think of something. I went to Target yesterday when I was doing my shopping, and I bought what apparently was the last copy in the store of Blu-ray and DVD combo of Weird the Al Yankovic Story.
Oh, cool.
So I was not expecting that to be on sale at a Target, but apparently it is. So
Nice.
So you can go find that at Target or perhaps other places similar to Target. So just wanted to mention that to all y'all Al fans out there.
Awesome.
Okay.
All right. Sundays in Nashville, Tennessee. Steve Goody hosting at the Bluebird. Sundays online, 2 Sleeps. Mondays online, Steve Goody and Brad Tassel at virtualcomedyshow.com. Mondays and Tuesdays online, Bill Larkin. On the 27th in Dixon, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. The 27th in Emmaus, Pennsylvania. Any ideas? Emmaus? Anyway,
Emmaus?
Emmaus?
Emmaus.
It's probably Emmaus, yeah. Carla
Emmaus.
Ulbrich, thank you. The 27th through the 29th in Riverside, Iowa, Bonnie Gordon. On the 28th in Provincetown, Massachusetts, Steve Goody emceeing a show but not performing. On the 29th in San Francisco, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. On the 2nd, July 2nd in Berkeley, California, Phil Johnson and Roadside Attraction. The weekend of the 4th through the 7th in Santa Clara, California, Bonnie Gordon. On the 6th in Doylestown, Pennsylvania, Carla Ulbrich. And on the 7th on YouTube, Escape from the Secret Lab, featuring the Consortium of Genius. All right, rats. Give us a quick intro to this song and we will give it a listen.
Well, this is sort of our musical version of the 70s disaster movie. You remember Jaws, Poseidon Adventure, any movie where creatures get together with ill will and attack a helpless population? That's what this is in musical form. In other words, another song about clams getting out of hand and destroying cities.
All right, here is Big Giant Clams by the Belle Isle Rats. All right, I don't know if you guys know, but I've gotten into filmmaking recently, hence the film festival tomorrow. I'm calling dibs on the movie rights to this song, so I would make a horror movie out of it.
So somebody in the comments said something similar to that.
Yeah.
About this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I saw that. Who was that? Hang on. Yeah, they were talking about. Oh, that was Joe J. Thomas, the other another FuMP artist. Sci-Fi Network will be calling you soon. I see a movie deal.
Yeah.
If Sci-Fi doesn't offer you a substantial amount of money, let me know, and I'll offer you a couple of bucks for it.
I mean, it pretty much writes itself. You know what I mean?
It does. Yeah.
You can picture the clams just sort of coming out of the sand. You could just in an angry rage and just I mean.
Oh, and the high-speed chases from clams. Good Lord.
Yeah. And at the end of the movie, you the credits roll and this song starts playing. It's perfect, Yeah. So what was the idea behind this song?
Yeah, actually, this song, in sort of a long roundabout way, dates back to my first days coming out to Hollywood back in 1982. Let me start with this story that involves Tom. It's February of 1982. We both fly out to L.A. because we're both thinking about coming out here, going to MI Musicians Institute School. And so we get off the plane, and I'm instantly smitten with L.A. I love it. It's like I love the vibe out here. I loved everything about it. Tom, not so much. What did you think, Tom, when you first got off the plane?
I wasn't that taken with it. Not too jazzed.
Well, anyway, we spent like a week out there looking around. I found an apartment. It was right behind the Man's Chinese Theater on Orchid Avenue, right there. And the guy showed me this apartment. It's pretty nice. It's freshly painted and all this. A small single apartment. So cool. So now I come back in a month later without Tom. Unfortunately, he decided not to come. Anyway, so I go in the apartment, and he didn't give me the one I was looking at originally. It was a different apartment, exactly like the one, but this one wasn't freshly painted. This one wasn't as nice. He's like giving me a little tour. He opens up the refrigerator door, and these cockroaches all just start falling out of the refrigerator. It's like, I'm like, I'm like 21 years old, never left Michigan, And then the first night there, they had these like couch/bed things, So I'm laying down.
You stayed there after the cockroaches fell out of the.
I spent the next several hours cleaning and getting raid and stuff like that. I mean, where was I going to go?
Yeah.
So I'm laying on this like half couch, half bed thing, and just like in thirds. So about 5 minutes into it, the part where my feet is just also my feet are dangling down. 30 seconds later, the board under my head falls down. So now I'm like laying like this. So that was my first night in Hollywood. Anyway, and I went through a couple of different roommates. So now here's the part where Tom comes in. So this is like June of 1982. I had a roommate, this guy I really like, who to this day is one of my best friends. And we're jamming in my apartment there. He had his little trap set. I had my guitar set up. And we're just jamming, which we always did. And we're just playing. It's the middle of the day. All of a sudden, I look up. And who do I see outside my door, my window? Tom. He flies out from Detroit completely unannounced. Had no idea he was coming with two suitcases. He walks in my door and he says something to the effect of, "What do you got to eat around here, fucker?" I'm like, and my roommate had never met. I had no idea who this guy is, who's now going to be staying with us for who knows how long. But yeah, I mean, so what were you thinking there, Tom? I mean, showing up completely unannounced from Detroit.
Yeah,
that was such a Tom thing to do.
In retrospect, it does sound kind of rude. But my whole attitude was, this is going to be funny. Just like showing up out of the blue, literally on the other side of the country, just out of nowhere. And, well, I'd say it was effective.
Yeah. Another time, he mailed me a Reuben sandwich from Detroit. There was this place called the House of Reuben on 8 Mile Road in Detroit. We used to go eat after we jam, and we love their sandwiches. And also, I get a package one day, open up, and there's this like moldy Reuben sandwich. He just mailed it through. This is
he didn't even try to preserve it.
No.
I put a silica gel pack in there.
Anyway, so this is kind of a roundabout thing. So this other roommate of mine, when him and I were roommates, he was a video guy. To this day, he's an editor for ESPN. But we used to go all around Hollywood and we used to film stuff. This was back in the days when you had a video camera that was the size of a small suitcase on your shoulder and another separate recorder. And we would film homeless people. We would film, interview homeless people. We film all kinds of weird stuff. And one day we got in my car and we filmed me bumping a shopping cart with my car in a parking lot. I had this 1978 yellow Chevette and we're just bumping shopping carts. Mike's filming it. So anyway, he's working at this place called World Access Cable. It was an upstart in Burbank and they needed content. So Mike said, hey, here, put the stuff that my roommate and I did. So this company called World Access takes this stupid content Mike and I done, and they broadcast it, and it went all over the world. People all over the world were watching me and my friend bumping shopping carts with my car. It was just, and we had a pet rat who somebody made a beanbag chair from. This is getting really weird, but anyway, here's the point of it. So while we were doing that in Hollywood, there was this homeless guy they called the Shuffler. He had some kind of a condition with his leg, and he would shuffle around Hollywood Boulevard, and he would always say, "Big giant clams, big giant clams." Homeless guy, the Shuffler, walking around saying "big giant clams" the whole time. Nobody's sure what he meant by it or what he was referring to, but that's where the song comes from. So it's really got nothing to do with a homeless guy, but that's just, I always thought to myself, one of these days I'm going to write a song called Big Giant Clams. So there you go. There's the whole story.
So I've been looking, as far as I can tell, has never been a horror movie about big giant clams attacking people. So the market is...
That's probably because they're stationary.
Hey, they made Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. We can do clams. But sure. in my searches, I found this website that had a post where some guy said, movies about clams, and he listed them, and there's a couple hundred of them here, and I'm like, these can't be real. And then I realized, no, they're not. They're Bill and Ted's Excellent Clamming, Chitty Chitty Clam, EC the Extra Clam, Gone with the Clams, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Clams. He's just...
I get a little bit offended when people don't take the clam concept seriously. Like, that's clearly they're just making fun of it, and that puts me off a little bit.
And I did find one movie trailer on YouTube, and unfortunately it was a fake movie trailer that was fan-made, which I freaking can't stand. But I knew it was fake right away because he used clips from Doctor Who, and I was like, yeah, I recognize that. That's not a horror movie about clams. But anyway.
Actually, a totally different take on it. Earlier, a real good friend of mine, I told him what was going to be happening, and I said, oh yeah, we're going to be doing big giant clams today. And he thought it was a takeoff. Have you ever heard that legendary Buddy Rich recording of him going off on his band on the bus?
I've heard little clips of it.
I think I have, yeah.
It's where he's yelling at him, saying, I take you out of here, and what do you give me? Clams! That's like a slang term for mistakes. If you blow a wrong note, you do something wrong, it's a clam. So he
I've
thought
never heard that.
Big giant clams, like, we're doing some kind of a riff on the Buddy Rich thing. And thought, nope, that's
nope,
a little
actually giant clams attacking people. And
see, what I'm thinking is, here's the marketing in my mind is, if the initial movie Big Giant Clams, is a hit, we need to make a sequel, and that's when you do Clamnado. But we can also do a tie-in with the product of Clamato. There's that clam and tomato juice, Clamato. So it would be Clamnado sponsored by Clamato.
Then we could get what's his name? The guy from Hannibal Lecter. We could get Anthony
Hopkins.
Yeah, we could do it. Silence of the Clams.
Wow, that's a brilliant marketing idea, Luke. That's what it.
I'm here for.
There you go. I mean, one thing, Tom had a great some lyrical contributions. His contribution was cis clams, cis clam warriors. That's just when that term was kind of coming into vogue. But yeah, there's it was a lot of fun doing it too. It's just a hoot. And then all those the thing I like about those little like sci-fi sound effects that happen right before the chorus.
Mm-hmm.
Those are actually built into Logic. Those are just from the Logic loops. I've actually heard those on commercial. I've heard those in other places. The ones that we use in the song later on. There's some commercial I heard, and that's the thing we use in Big Giant Clams. A little sound effect pop. So it's always a risky run.
My favorite thing like that was, we've been doing this podcast for years, and we have the segment, that we've already heard the thing. It's the funny music news, and then like there's that music in the background that sounds like the news update music.
Right.
That was used in an episode of The Office.
Yeah.
I was watching The Office, and all of a sudden I heard like, dun, 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 dun. I'm like, wait, what? Am I about to be on The Office?
Yeah, that's the risk you run when you use things like Apple Loops, but it just fits so well that it was actually kind of an accident to discover that. But what a great way to go into the chorus. Yeah, people use them because they're royalty free.
Yep. That's why we used it.
Everything else was original. There was no AI used in this whatsoever. This is all original.
So what? I was having a hard time following like the time signatures. What were you doing here? Was one of them like 11/8?
I know the verses were 5. We're 5/4.
5/4. Yeah. Okay. I caught that part of it was 5/4.
Yeah. I don't know. I'd have to look at the session, but it could be. I know we've done some songs that like were in 11 and stuff like that, but I'd have to look. But definitely some odd time in there here and there. That's our Russian Zappa influence, So
no, it came together beautifully. It's not like distracting or anything. But right. As like the second or third time I was listening to the song, I was like, "What the hell time signature is this?"
Yeah. I know. I know it's 5/4 in the verse, and I think it is 11 or something like that in one of the choruses. And then in the part where his drum fills come in, that's another weird thing. But I mean, I do these things and I completely forget what I have to look at the session and see what it actually was. Oh yeah, it was this, and that.
Yeah.
But so it's always fun counting those things. Like usually what we do is I'll send Tom, like before he ever comes out, I'll send him MP3 so he can learn it and have it nailed.
I don't know. Did I get a preview to that?
Yes. I remember I sent you a preview of the Logic track with a little video of me in the corner, and I had some temp drums in there. But then, you always do stuff that's better than the temp drums. So
yeah. Well, that thing where you were doing, like, the drum is doing, like, a 3 against whatever the opening strain is.
That's a 3 against 4.
You did. I kept that because I thought that was brilliant. It was just weird enough without being too crazy. It just gave it a really cool vibe.
Bit of fun.
Yeah.
So,
it's a neat song. And now I'm going to be thinking of plots for giant clam movies, so I may be in touch. Yeah. Once you get my brain starting, there's no shutting it off. So,
yeah. The hardest part was finding a rhyme for Beach Town, because you know what, they're going to invade this beach town. Beach Town. What rhyme? Finally came up with. Somebody else was telling me who was trash talking about baseball. He goes, "Yeah, your Red Sox are going to beat the Tigers. You guys ready for the beat down?" I thought, beat down. There you go. It took a while to get that rhyme, but they're usually there once you fish for them.
Yeah, sometimes you got to get creative with the rhymes.
It certainly is the first song that's had the lyric, "These outraged filter feeders are coming after us."
I probably got that. I probably got that from you because you're more the science, chemistry, biology guy. I
don't remember putting together the lyrics, but that does sound like something I would have suggested.
You probably gave me some terms, maybe not even then, like maybe over time, because I know when we did the Chemistry Dog song, I had you send me a bunch of chemistry terms, and I ended up writing the lyrics from a lot of that. So he doesn't just contribute drums and bad vocals; he contributes lyrically as well.
Yep,
that's right. I was mercifully away from the vocal mic on that one.
All right, so do you have anything you'd like to plug?
No. Just our standard our standard, bellerats.com. Listen to it and look on all the streaming services. And we're working on new songs right now. We're hoping to have Tom come out later this year and do some more stuff, which we're working on. So,
but are we? This could be big news. Didn't you say we might be able to get an actual studio?
Oh yeah, we're going to actually record in a real studio this time instead of just like usually we just record in my church because they let us go in there and we have it all set up. But I have a lot of studios who are my clients for piano tuning, and I've got this one guy. He's got this place called 64 Sound. He's out in like Glassell Park, Eagle Rock area. Luke, you probably know where that is. He's on like Avenue, and he's got this really cool old vintage studio. He's got all these really cool old ribbon mics. He's got drums all set up in there. So basically, I'm just gonna like barter for him. I'll give you a year's worth of free piano tunings for like 2 days of studio time in your studio. So we'll probably be doing that in the fall. That should be a lot of fun.
Awesome.
So we better get our act together.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be all grown up now.
Well, best of luck with the new songs. I can't wait to hear them.
Well, thank you.
And let's do some feedback.
Making the internet absolutely ridiculous. Dementia Radio.
www.dementiaradio.org. Port 8027.
Please hang up and try again.
This is the part where there's feedback. Feedback. You know that segment of the show we do about now? Feedback. Feedback.
Feedback.
Lee, let's sing a song about Lee, let's sing a song about Lee, you're testing my ADD.
Eclectic Lee wrote, Devo was going to check if Luke beat Dr. Sarcophagi to saying the title compared to last week, number 730. According to my notes, which measure everything from when the recorded podcast begins, i.e. the podcast timestamp, Luke beat Dr. Sarcophagi in saying the title by over 2 minutes. However, I went back to compare, and the difference is because of how long into the episode the opening title played. If you instead use the opening title as your measurement, Dr. Sarcophagi beat Luke by about 50 seconds. And worse than that, if you measure from when Devo finishes saying the title to when someone else starts, the actual words, not just the setup, Dr. Sarcophagi has a solid lock on it with only 15 seconds. So sorry, Luke. This has been your over-analysis for the week. Thank you, Lee.
Thank you, Lee. Your service is very much appreciated.
And Lee also said, tour dates, yes, Steve is only emceeing that show, not performing. You don't have to actually read this as feedback, Devo. Well, I did, so there. All right. And over on YouTube.
Hey, log!
Oh my god, it's you, not again!
A-Log wrote, now that the coast is clear, it's great to hear that the Consortium of Genius will be rocking the house at FuMPFest this year. If I don't get thrown out of my job this year, I will definitely make the trip to see what the mad scientists of rock are like live and in the laboratory. And also, on a personal note, apologies for the lateness of my show the past few years, including 2024. Real life and work got in the way. I do have scripts at the ready for catch-up. And Luke, I apologize if someone else asked this before, but what are your thoughts on the amazing digital circus?
Haven't seen it yet.
I don't know what that is. What is it?
I think it's an online cartoon show.
Oh, okay.
I've seen characters of it. I know it has a following, but I have not looked into the show. I actually watched a different show in the past week that I had watched the first episode of it before, and I had meant to go back to it, and then I just didn't. And now that Has Been Hotel came out, and I've watched that whole first season twice, and I'm kind of halfway through my third rewatching. I decided the other day to watch Vivzy Pop, Spindle Horse's other show. It takes place in the same universe called Hell of a Boss. So I actually watched all of season 1 and 2 of Hell of a Boss. Season 2 just dropped episode 9. So basically, I'm kind of as caught up as I can be with that one, and it's good. It had a lot of genuine laughs in that. Like, I laughed out loud at a few different points in that cartoon, and I'm gonna probably anyway. that, so the Digital Circus thing I have not made an effort to look into, but Hell of a Boss I can give a hearty recommendation to, as well as Has Been Hotel. And Has Been Hotel has great music in it. If you like musicals, definitely check it out. It kind of sucks because there's some songs in it that like definitely are up the alley of comedy music, but none of them kind of stand out on their own enough that you can listen to it as a comedy song without knowing the rest of the context of what's going on for it to be on its own. Otherwise, I'd be asking Dr. D to play stuff from it, because one of my favorite character on Has Been Hotel is this character named Alistair, who's known as the Radio Demon. And he's all about, like, he doesn't like television, he doesn't like any new technology. Like, he kind of influences people by, like broadcasting over the radio to the one of the circles of hell where they all live. And he has like this staff that has a microphone on the end of it, and when he speaks, they've made his voice incredibly tinny so that he sounds like he's talking through a radio at all times. And his voice and kind of character was meant to be kind of an evil demonic version of the character from Annie who sings "You're Never Fully Dressed Without a Smile." So it's like, aha, hello, so it's like, it's like, never fully dressed without one, but it's like all sounding like tinny and stuff. And it's a really great character, and I'm really psyched to see where the story goes with it. In fact, I kind of want to do a piece of fan art doing a cross between Alistair and Dr. Demento and call it Dr. Demon Toe, because he's a demon. Get it? Anyway, so that's Luke Talks About Tunes for a few minutes.
All right. And one more. Hamner Hack.
Fuck you, Devo. What? Stupid. It's so stupid. Why? Why does it make me laugh every time? Go ahead.
Hamner Hack wrote, "Hey Devo, I thought finding mindless zombies in the U.S. was easy. Just take a net to your nearest Trump rally." The problem with that is that Dr. Pinkerton specifically asked for the rotting undead zombie type. So those are going to be much harder to track down. But I do have a lead with a guy who's got this formula that he promised me can reanimate the dead. So we're going to work on that. All right. That's it for feedback.
Teasing. He's a teasing kind of guy. Now you have a job.
Yeah.
Teasing. Can't tease anything yet because Friday song ain't posted. Tuesday song ain't posted. It's posted. Yeah.
At least one of them is my fault.
So we'll get to that. Spotify playlist topic. I want to do the 4th of July, but I don't know whether I should do it this week or next week, because next Thursday is the 4th, but then the Friday would be after the 4th. If I do it this Friday, it'll be leading up to the 4th. Does that make more sense, doing it this Friday?
Interesting thought. Let me look at the calendar again.
Because the 4th is Thursday next week.
Yeah, probably. Well, then again,
That's
that
right.
would make sense to do it now.
So to do it now?
Yeah, it makes sense to do it as do it now as the lead up.
Lead up to the 4th. Okay, cool. That's what I thought.
Yeah.
All right, cool. I
Like
can
I put in
play.
a
I can play
request
the Belle Isle Rat song "Blow Stuff Up" because that's one of my favorite songs ever.
If I can put in a request, please include my song "God Bless Stephen Colbert."
For the 4th of July. Oh yeah. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, I was doing
Oh,
the
and I
4th of
thought-
July. I'm like, ooh, I can play "Blow Stuff Up," and then I went and listened to it again. I freaking love that song.
Speaking of things that are happening in early July, something I think is worthy of mention. It's not exactly funny music news, but July 1st on Netflix, season 2 of Star Trek Prodigy drops. Woo!
Yes.
And not only is our good friend Bonnie Gordon in it as the voice of the ship's computer, and I'm sure other characters to be revealed, but it was just revealed that Klingon Pop Warrior, a.k.a. Jen Ucelis, apparently was somehow also involved with Season 2, helping out with the Klingon language-related things in the episodes. So I don't know if her voice appears in any of the episodes. I'm guessing probably not, but she was at least involved with the production of season 2, which is really, really cool. So
nice.
So yeah, just imagine being her and getting to work on canon Star Trek stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just mind blowing. The irony for me though is I've never taken a trip like this before with my family, and in a weird mistake of misunderstanding like agreements and stuff, Netflix in France. Dumb parody idea for we should hand over to Bonnie for the future. But Netflix in France released season 2 of Prodigy like months and months ago. For some reason, whatever deal they had them, so France got season 2 way early, and none of us have seen it. So now I've been waiting, and then July 1st comes. Where's Luke going to be? Luke's going to be in Europe when the new season drops. And then I'm going to go to Disneyland Paris, which is in France, so I can watch the French version if I want to. So I don't know. It'll be hard for me to, maybe when I go to bed at night, I could sneak in watching episodes, an episode or 2 at night, because I don't want anything spoiled for me, because I am so psyched, because the series is so good. And if y'all haven't watched it, season 1 is already up on Netflix, so go watch Star Trek Prodigy and listen to Bonnie be the computer and other characters, and just have a good old time trekking it up. Especially if you're a fan of Star Trek Voyager, you should be watching Star Trek Prodigy.
Yeah,
anyway.
it's a surprisingly good show. It really is. Like, I wasn't expecting much out of it when I started watching it, because I was like, oh, Star Trek for kids, okay, fine. And I was like, I'll give it a shot, and I was like, oh, this is good.
Yeah, I mean, this is the network that gave us, like, Avatar: The Last Airbender and stuff like that. It's like, oh, they aren't messing around with this.
Yeah.
So, anyway. Just wanted to make sure that got mentioned.
All right. So David W. Jacobsen is at davidwj.com. Belle Isle Rats, plug yourself one more time.
BelleIsleRats.com. Well, everything's on all the streaming services, Spotify, Apple Music, Deezer, all the other ones. Check it out when you've got absolutely nothing better to do with your life.
Deezer? I forgot about that.
I didn't even know that. I get a thing everyone's going, now your music is on Devo. Okay, whatever.
I've never heard of it before. Right now.
It's a thing.
All right. Let's get out of here.
That's it.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. I'm Devo Spice.
And I'm Luke Ski, and look, a couple of guys who are in Van Nuys a lot of the time.
Thank you for listening to the Funny Music Podcast. You can listen live every Thursday night at 10 p.m. Eastern, 7 Pacific at DementiaRadio.org, and join us in the chat. Or subscribe to the podcast feed. Look us up on iTunes and be sure to leave us a review. Feedback for the show can be sent to info@thefump.com. The Funny Music Podcast is a production of Fidem Interactive, LLC, released under a Creative Commons share-alike license. Tell your friends, tell your enemies, shout it to random people on the street, and be sure to visit thefump.com for the latest funny songs. Tune in next week where you'll hear Luke Ski say,
if you're unfamiliar with Deezer, those are the little guys on Fraggle Rock who build all the little buildings out of radishes.